Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to spooky season. It is officially fall, and despite the fact that I don't like cold weather, I adore spooky season with all of my heart and soul. And you know, since we're scraping the bottom of the serotonin barrel these days, I have decided to don some wings and just spend all of spooky season and perhaps the rest of eternity dressing up and playing, because the adult world is frankly quite loathsome. Lucky for us, it's Friday, TGIF, and we get a blessed reprieve from the adult world for just a couple of days. And lucky you get to spend some of that with me. You get to spend some of that together. First, I would just like to state that this was not what I was wearing today. I will insert a picture right here of the outfit I had on from approximately 12 o'clock today until about 20 minutes ago. And up until that point, I hadn't showered for a number of days, was still in my pajamas. So it's just been one of those days. It's been one of those weeks. We started this week off, if you're in Canada, if you're in Ontario, this sentiment will be felt deeply, I'm sure. We started this week off with our federal election, which, following the count of all of the votes, turned out to be an epic waste of time and millions upon millions of dollars. No one's impressed, we're all annoyed. We're all just burnt out and tired. And then, you know, work is work and it's exhausting, and being an adult is hard. However, if you follow me on Instagram, which please do follow me there, because we have fun there sometimes. I did get a sword. I know I ended my last video being like, I might be getting a sword. And lo and behold, the universe delivered. And I have a sword, a real sword, not a plastic Halloween sword, a real sword. And that was very exciting. That led me to creating a little TikTok. I did a TikTok video with a little transition. Good times, I'm having fun. Enter cosplay land. But until we get to, you know, real cosplay, deep cosplay land, we have a bit of an agitated, cranky Lan on our hands today, but we're going to turn that around. I've got a goblet of beverage, adult beverage here. It's not even 5 o'clock yet, but I signed off early, so you're not my real dad. You can't tell me what to do. And we're gonna do some fun makeup today that will hopefully turn the mood around, and then the fit that I am wearing and the wings that I have adorned are all for yet another TikTok, because that's just where we're at. Depending on what look we come up with this evening, I am going to film my big three. If you're on TikTok, it's where there's like the clones filter and everyone's like showing the personalities of their big three. So like your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising. And I've been wanting to jump on that trend. And now I have a little outfit with the wings and a little silk skirt. And we're gonna do makeup, and then I will film my big three. So if you wanna follow me on TikTok, I know last time I told you not to, but if you wanna follow me on there, I'll post my account here. I'll link it below. And you're welcome. You're welcome to join me on that platform and experience that with me, because as we noted last week, it has been an experience. So today, I'm gonna pin back my bangs, my freshly washed bangs, and this is going to be the second last time that you will see me with this colored hair, by the by, because we're gonna have some fun next weekend. the salon. It has been a number of hours since I did my skincare, because I obviously did that after my shower. You can probably tell that I'm not as red and blotchy as I was last time because I had just washed my face, but I always look better once the skin has had a moment to calm down. But I am still dealing with some blemishes and picked spots because anxiety. So I am actually going to do some skin prep, which I never really do on camera. The first thing I'm going to go in with is the Lila B Aglow Face Mist, because I still have this adorable little mini here. And this is always a bad look, so like avert your eyes. How do girls do this and not like flinch? Don't answer that. Get your mind out of the gutter. I don't know how people have attractive facial expressions when that's happening. And then, because again, I did my skincare quite a number of hours ago, I'm also going to go in with the Lila B Aglow Priming Oil. And I have really not used this. So I'm just going to take one little pump and just get that all over my skin so that we have a good place to start with the makeup. And I do really like how that feels. I just don't really ever use primers because I always do my makeup right after my skincare and sunscreen. So it just seems like an unnecessary addition as far as I'm concerned, especially because I'm not going anywhere that requires, you know, my makeup to last a long time. I don't typically need my makeup to withstand long mask wearing. Unlike last week, I'm going to be using the Got to Be Glued on my eyebrows first so that we can just kind of get that out of the way. You know, just doing the usual, not really caring about the eyebrows, just gelling them up into some kind of spiky, floofy shape and leaving it because I just cannot be bothered. One day, probably whenever I decide to finally grow my bangs out, we will care about our eyebrows again. But until such a time, this is it. We're doing bare minimum here. Friends, the anxiety and the depression are really, really winning, as they have been for several months now, and it's getting to me. This week, I had a really hard time caring about work, and maybe it was, you know, the election burnout that I swear to God, the stress of that election, I definitely sprouted several more gray hairs as a result. And, you know, do I get a refund on that kind of nonsense? Like, federal government, provincial government, because you're pissing me off too. Where do I send my hair receipt? Can I expense that? Seems fair. Anywho, so yeah, big surprise. My mental health is still garbage. Almost started using this without showing you what it was. This week I'm going back to the Uma Beauty Stay Woke Concealer because I do still really love this, and I have the shade T1 Honey Honey or Honey Honey T1, whichever way it is actually supposed to be talked about, don't know. This is also a really great concealer. I enjoy it. I like the coverage, I like the texture, I like the way it feels on my skin. It doesn't have a scent, which is nice. The doe foot is nice and chubby. It's good. It's a good time. It's a good time. We're having a good time in the makeup land for someone who, you know, never really used to be into it. So where do I begin on, you know, today's conversation, which is still really very much in the mental health space, specifically in my mental health space, because this is my channel and my channel is about me and the world and real girl shit. And I've noticed that a lot of creators that I follow have been talking a lot more openly about their own mental health struggles lately, which I really appreciate. And I think that's also happening because everyone is just, we have all reached this point where we're like, I'm so tired, I'm so burnt out, I can't do this anymore, my body has stopped functioning, I have a family to care for, like something has got to give. Like me, everyone is just kind of scraping the bottom of the serotonin barrel, just like desperately trying to feel some glimpse of joy. And that can be really challenging, especially if you put yourself in the public space, especially if you have you know, an audience that you have a responsibility to and feel a responsibility for. And, you know, you want to be transparent and you want to keep people up to date, and, you know, you don't want to be ignoring messages and all of that stuff. But thank goodness for me personally, where I am at mentally, I don't have to deal with that like level of responsibility and community, because I'm still a very small creator, and the only individual on this here planet that I actually have to answer to consistently is my cat. And she has been a real pain. Like, everyone this week was really pressing my buttons, but then the cat has just been back to her demon toddler behavior. And I swear everyone was like this close to being tossed directly into the fiery depths of Mount Doom. Like, this close, this close. I cannot be the only one who is just feeling at the end of their rope. At the end of that teeny tiny thin piece of string. It's not even rope, it's dental floss. But yeah, it seems like a lot of other creators are being a little bit more transparent right now about everyone's mental health situation. And like, a lot of people are having conversation about like, listen, I'm really not doing well, to the point where I've had to go on new medication. And y'all, same. I'm gonna move on to bronzer. And this week I'm gonna go in with some powder. Shocking. I'm using the Lily Lolo pressed bronzer in Montego Bay. As you can see by the divot in the middle there, it is my favorite for eyeshadow. I have been using it as a regular bronzer as well. Quite like it. So, I don't know how many weeks ago now. It probably is no longer weeks. I think it's actually closer to a couple of months, maybe 2 months. Or it will be 2 months next week. I finally caved. And in, you know, a therapy session, I was like, listen, I'm having a really hard time. My anxiety is so bad. My body is still covered in these rashes. I'm still getting this like persistent lump in my throat. I have identified that the cause of this lump in my throat and these rashes are because of my high level of panic and anxiety. You know, like, I'm anxiously scratching, and this lump in my throat is it is a sure sign of panic. I keep trying to like shove it away and compartmentalize, so my body is manifesting physical responses to my psychological and emotional distress. And I was like, I'm having trouble, you know, functioning. I'm having trouble getting through the day. I don't want to work. All I really want to do is just like sleep or play, and like, I'm unhappy and I'm tired of feeling this way. And like, I think we have to talk about some medication, because I cannot keep doing this. I'm exhausted. It's exhausted trying to continue wading through the molasses of this experience. And she was like, okay, so let's talk about that. She was very open to the idea, and like, listen, I don't particularly want to be on 1,000 pharmaceuticals. I'm already on medication for my asthma and my Crohn's disease, and like, I have chronic headaches, so like, I'm constantly taking Tylenol. I don't sleep well. I have kind of really bad insomnia. There's so many things, and I didn't want to add like another thing in my body that, I don't know. Obviously it's very personal because it's my body and no one knows my body like me, but I had reached a point where I was like, I can't function. So just to do a pause on the chat, and because of the makeup look I want to do, I really don't know. I have 2 new eye products here, and it might just end up being that I do one color on one eye and the other color on the other eye, because I cannot decide. So the first is, big surprise, a Ritual Defy product. This is the Celestial Sphere eye soot in Serpens. And like, I know a lot of people have a hard time with the packaging, but I just think it's super cute. And this is like a very grungy, like dirty gold color. I'm gonna dip my finger in there and do a nice little swatch for you. I saw this online and was like, that is stunning. I really, really like that. And I think I mentioned last week that I've been like binging Hannah Louise Poston, and one of her things is like grungy kind of eye looks, and I was like, yeah, I'm into it. that's what I want in my life. So I picked this up and I've been playing around with it, but haven't actually worn it yet. So I really like that. I want to do that. But then I got another Danessa Myricks product here, and this is the Danessa Myricks Color Fix, and it's one of the foils in Mermaid. And like, just look at that. It's this gorgeous blue, but it has like a purple / green shift to it. I'm gonna try not to deposit too much for this swatch here because a little literally goes a long way. I put it on my hand the other day and like the back of my hand was covered and I was like, I just wasted so much product. But it's so outrageously pretty. And like, I sheared it out quite a bit there, but I don't know, my lights aren't the best today, but it's absolutely beautiful. And I don't know, is it crazy if I just like do one eye one way and the other eye with the other because I can't decide? You know what? My body, my choice. We're gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do the right eye. This is my right eye, right? The right eye, I think, with Mermaid. This will be my Piscean side. And then the left eye I will do in Serpens. I don't know, that will be my like Sag Virgo side. Anyways, back up to what I was talking about as I'm gonna just dust some of the Lily Lolo in my crease. Just a teeny bit, just to give me some kind of transition color, and just some shadow up in there. So yeah, we started talking about medication, my therapist and I, and again, I was reticent. I don't love being on all kinds of drugs. And a couple of years ago, in the midst of one of the biggest, worst family tragedies I will ever experience, I needed to go on some medication then. And based on that experience specifically, I was exceptionally reticent and nervous and unsure about going on a medication again, because at that time, the medication I had been put on, again, for extreme anxiety, and I was having like panic attacks multiple times a day, wasn't able to function, needed to be able to keep working because I had to keep a roof over my house. I had to keep a roof over my head. It turned me into a robot, and I lost like all ability to think properly. Like I lost touch with my emotional self. And as a creative person, especially as a poet and a writer, and someone who just lives ultimately through the lens of deep, powerful emotions, it was horrible. It was worse than had I actually been able to like sit into the grief and trauma of what I had been experiencing. So, 3 years later, I still haven't fully processed what happened then. And I mentioned this to my therapist and she said, well, that's fair and I hear you, but it also might not have been the medication, and it also just could have been your body's response to the trauma and how your body and your mind decided to deal with what was going on at that time. And there's no way to know. It's not like we can do an A/B test. That's 3 years ago. My body is different. Your body changes. I have no way of knowing if the medication that they had put me on then. And I was like, yeah, okay, totally fair point. Let's talk about what my options are. So, we talked about a couple of things, and she's like, just given everything that I know and everything we've talked about, like, yeah, we're dealing with high anxiety, like generalized anxiety disorder, blah, blah. Let's put you on this. So, and to be completely transparent, she put me on sertraline, which is like common name is Zoloft. I think it's Zoloft. Which is hilarious because I'm pretty sure that's what my vet wanted to put my cat on for her anxiety. Like, can you imagine? Like, what a pair. Little witch and familiar, both anxious creatures that need to be medicated. So yeah, we're on that. I'm not on like an exceptionally high dosage, and we started really low and like kind of went up slowly. And these medications have a cumulative effect, so it's not like it's gonna work overnight. And I'm taking them in the morning versus the evening because I do suffer from insomnia. And she was like, I would rather have you be a little bit, lethargic during the day than completely wired at night and not be able to sleep. And I was like, yeah, same. Like, I need to sleep. Like, I'm a cranky little monster. I need sleep. I need sleep. and I don't sleep, and I need it. So yeah, I've been on that for maybe 2 months now. I'm like at the dosage that we were like aiming for, and like, is it working? I don't know. It was 2 months at this, because it took me a couple of weeks to like get to the current dosage I'm at. Is it working yet to its full effect? I don't know. Am I so anxious that I need to up my dosage? I really don't know. But that's where things are at. I'm on some head meds, and so far I just also have the complete inability to turn off the external world and external factors. So like, obviously I'm constantly anxious. I can't look away. Like, every day is a train wreck, and I have absolutely no self-control when it comes to that. So like, obviously I'm stressed out, and work is stressful. And like, you know, I mentioned last week that being the absolute stupid idiot that I am, decided, oh, let's go on Hinge. Let's try dating. What a terrible idea. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna delete the app already. I can't even. Okay, we're going in with the Mermaid, and like, talk about stress. I'm so nervous, but it's so pretty, so like, maybe I won't mess it up. We're just gonna go all over the eyelid here. I'm using a flat brush, and then I'll use a fluffy brush afterwards. It is applying a little bit patchy because, again, it's a foil. Like, I think this probably would function much better as like a topper versus a full lid color, because there's not really like a base color. But that being said, I'll let it dry and then try some layers. But like, pretty. I like the color. And then I'm just gonna, you know, take a fluffy and just kind of like do that. So yeah, I'm not sure that trying to start dating was the wisest decision. It was definitely like an impulsive thing. And not even because I'm like dating or talking to a lot of people. I've chatted with like a small handful of individuals, all men, because as I mentioned last week, I have the audacity to have a very specific type apparently for the imaginary woman I would like to potentially have a conversation with, and have not found said woman yet. Just kind of rubbing the excess on my lower lash line just to see. I'm not doing a very good job here. Not a makeup artist, you know, we're just playing. And also it seems that this like really sticks down. It looks interesting. I will probably go in with like some kind of smoky liner after I have the kind of layering that I want and like the opacity. I don't hate this. It dries really fast though. Like, this I find dries way faster than the other two color fixes I have. Probably because it's like basically just a sparkly glitter glue. So yeah, the whole like, let's start dating was a preemptive strike that I 100% wasn't ready for, as I have not been ready for every other time I've decided to venture into that space, because I do literally end up having panic attacks because I go through all of these profiles, and again, all of these guys are like, I love sports, I love travel, and I'm like, oh, I don't. Point blank, I don't. I am not well traveled in the world, and I don't know that I really want to. Like, I travel up here. I read. That's how I travel the world. I experience the world through books, and always have since I was a small child. That's just kind of who I am. I live. And I'm not saying that that's right or good, and I'm not judging people who travel. I can't meet the expectation of someone whose, you know, ultimate goal in life is to travel the world, because I'm just frankly not that person. I think that's what kind of, you know, impacted a lot of my friendships when I was younger too, because like everyone after college or after high school wanted to like backpack around the world, and I was like, I just want to get into good university and learn and be smart and be loved. And everyone was like, I want to go to Thailand. Cool. Thailand looks beautiful, but also can we stop riding elephants? Because they deserve to be out in the wild and not held captive for human entertainment. Why am I this way? Why am I this person? Anyways, we're off topic. So yeah, And then, you know, you get across the profiles that are like, I want someone who's super positive or like who's open to polyamory. And I'm like, I'm not positive. I'm a negative little Nelly. And I am a worst case scenario planner. Like, hi. Also, no, I'm not interested in having a relationship with multiple people because I only just started having a relationship with myself, and having a relationship with you, a single individual, is stressful enough. So like, no, and I don't trust people. Totally on me, but like, no, I don't want to get involved in whatever. Sorry. And again, if you're poly, great. I'm not judging polyamorous people. Just for me personally, cannot. And like, does that, I can't, I don't want to, I'm not interested in like casual hookups. Everybody still seems to be very much in the space of like, I just want something casual, or, you know, I need to work on myself. Great, work on yourself, please. Maybe work on yourself before you get on the apps. And like, that's what I'm trying to do. And then I realize that I'm not there yet. So I back away before I lead anybody on. I don't know. I don't know what these people's expectations are. And they'll tell you one thing to kind of like get you hooked, and then they flip the switch and you just don't know where you stand, and it's just really hard. And you know, I'm trying not to just go by looks alone. Like I try to, of course we all want to end up with beautiful, attractive human beings. Like, listen, my type at this point in time is purely like Geralt of Rivia, played by Henry Cavill. If I am looking for a man in my life right now, that is the baseline for the individual I am willing to welcome into my heart and my life and my bed. But that's like unrealistic, right? So like, I can have a fantasy relationship with this man. I can watch the show, I can read the books, I can live up here. But if I want something in the human world, in the present, in physical form, I have to deviate those expectations just a little bit, which is fine. Like, listen, there is something to be said for physical attraction, obviously, but then you get to know people, and sometimes physical attraction and like the chemistry and the bond between the two of you evolves and develops into something really beautiful and magical. I understand that, but I'm also like a love at first sight person. Every single person who I've ever had like that spark that like knocks you off your feet, it's all been like meet cutes. I haven't met these people through like dating apps. In my entire history, my entire dating career, those specific experiences have always been people I've met in person serendipitously, not because it's like this very specific, I was seeking them out on a dating app. Okay, there was like maybe one person that happened with, but like that was an exception to the rule, I think, personally speaking, again. Ooh, okay. Thank you so much. Just a little extra dew on the cheek there. A little Riesling mist. I'm gonna move on to the other eye because I'm okay with where the mermaid is sitting at currently, and then we'll probably go back in. I'm gonna go in with the Ritual Defeat Serpens. Probably should use a different brush though. I just don't know which one. Anyways, the point is I find this all very stressful and overwhelming. And I don't know how people do it. And like, everyone's like, well, you know, I had to go through this, and like, I had to wade through all of the muck too, and blah, blah. Like, yeah, I get it. We all have to. I think that in it of itself is the tragedy of our times, is like that we have to wade. Ooh, that is so pretty. Yo. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love this. I like them both, to be perfectly honest, but the Serpens is just wow. And I didn't put that much on my brush. Like, I'm just dipping, or like rather dabbing the brush right into the product rather than like putting it on the back of my hand like I did with the Danessa Myricks. But this is beautiful. Oh my God. It's so pretty. Like, this is spooky season right here. This is beautiful. And I have a mermaid costume that I made in university, and like that, she might have to come out and play because that's so pretty too. But ooh, okay. I need a different fluffy brush for this side so that I'm not like cross-contaminating things here. But they're all dirty because I still haven't washed my brushes. The Ritual Defeat product blends much easier. Like, there's a lot more playtime with it, just in case you were wondering. And it's absolutely gorgeous. That is so pretty. Wow, okay. Well, that made me happy. That definitely gave me a little boost. Got little serotonin bubbles. running through my body because that is super pretty. Okay, going in with another kind of like pencil brush to put this on the lower lash line. And again, a lot of playtime. Like, it's just so soft and creamy. I'm definitely gonna have to experiment more with the Danessa Myricks foils because it's just completely different texture. And I did want to go into kind of like a little wing shape with this side, and I couldn't get there because I didn't have enough product to play with. So we're gonna have to go back in. So yeah, I chatted with a few people. I actually had a hang, not a date, a hang with someone who was, and I was like very nervous about it, but it was very safe and it was like outside, and I like sat on a park bench and talked, and like that in and of itself was just nice to like have an interaction with someone and not just have it be like chatting online. Because if you chat online with someone for too long, you start to create a picture of them. They start taking a different shape and form in your head, and then it can be very disappointing and often shocking to meet that person in person and kind of have the like picture that you were creating in your head shattered a little bit, you know? And I think that's probably happened to all of us. But it's just one of the things. Like, that's why I think a lot of people are like, I just want to meet you. Let's meet quickly. And I am of that mind, but at the same time, because I'm the anxious little bean that I am, as evidenced by, as demonstrated by the leaping brushes, I do want to kind of get to know someone before I just jump right into meeting them. Like, I'm not in my early 20s anymore with balls of steel. I'm just not. I'm hesitant. I don't trust people, as I mentioned. At least I'm more self-aware of my issues than I was in university, when you're just literally running around like a chaotic human. You know, it's just balls to the wall. You don't think, you don't look before you leap. You just go for it. And you know, bless all of our teenage and 20-something selves for acting so bravely in the big bad world. You know, good for us for having little to no fear. Good for our younger selves for just taking the bull by the horns and going for it. Because as an adult, as a slightly older adult, I am not there anymore. I know it looks very strange that I have two completely different colored eyes. Like we served two different vibes here. But I like it. It will obviously come together a little bit more with the mascara, naturally, as it always does. But I'm digging this. I will definitely be getting use out of these two products, and like that was kind of one of my concerns. So I was like, are these just gonna sit in my makeup collection forever? Okay, that was a bad thing to do. I don't know what happened. Didn't like that. But pretty. What is next? What should I do next? Blush, I suppose. Okay, I have two blushes here. Very similar in tone. We can either do the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in Ballet Slippers, which is just a very like nice, natural kind of peachy flush, or we can do the Tower 28 Beach Please in Power Hour, which I used last week and have been loving to bits and pieces. I don't know, maybe I will do the Vision Flush just because I feel like I haven't used that in a little while. Okay, back to my story. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just confused on so many fronts. I'm so anxious and I'm ready to just completely delete the apps again and just give myself more time. I don't know that pushing myself in this specific space is the appropriate way to go. Whoa, that's too much blush. But it's spooky season and Halloween time, so I guess we're going full throttle here. I'm just gonna have to keep blending that until that's a little bit less intense. I always forget that the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush packs a punch like that. Let's just zoom through this, shall we? Okay, fine. That's fine. In the viewfinder, it doesn't look terrible in the mirror. It doesn't look terrible. I'm just a little fleshy and my ears are going pink because of the topic of conversation. So I think next is obviously going to be mascara, and then we will decide whether or not to do like a neutral lip or go a little bit deeper perhaps, or go a little bit pinker. Because if we're going to go neutral, we'll just see. Let's do mascara, but I just want to kind of finish my thought. So yeah, I really think that the whole like let's jump into dating may have been too much of a preemptive strike for my delicate little psyche and my delicate little heart. It was great that I like stepped out of my comfort zone long enough to kind of go on this little hang. And again, it wasn't a date. It was just like a park hang. That was nice. Will it go anywhere? Don't know. Don't particularly care. And this has nothing to do with that individual and everything to do with where I am currently. And, you know, the expectations I think that I have of myself, less so the expectations that I think other people might have of me. Like I'm coming to the table with a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I'm coming to the table with, you know, anxiety and, you know, depression and other chronic illnesses, and like I take a lot of medication and I have a lot of food allergies, and like it has to be a very specific person who's like ready to just make space and hold space for all of that, because a lot of people quite frankly just don't want to deal with it. I haven't really yet encountered an individual who has the maturity and emotional intelligence to actually hold space for you know, other people's mental or physical illnesses and not have that be that person that you're like defining factor. Does that make sense? Like they're not always seeing you through that lens, because I don't want to be seen through the lens of, you know, my asthma or my Crohn's disease or my debilitating dairy allergies that will literally kill me. These are different facets of myself. They have all been responsible for definitive moments in my life, but ultimately like they're not who I am, they're just parts of who I am. And I think I have high expectations. I'm not saying other people should not have high expectations, but I don't know. I think my anxiety and my mental health currently in the current landscape are just going to be taking the front seat. They're going to be in the driver's seat for the next little while. I don't really see that changing too much, which is sometimes unfortunate, because it would be nice to have, you know, some camaraderie and partnership and not have my life revolve around my new head meds. But, you know, we're going to see if they work, and if they do, great. And if they help to kind of like regulate where things are at right now and kind of bring me a little closer back down to solid ground, I think that would be appreciated. And in the meantime, to boost my serotonin and all of the things I'm sure I am deficient in, we're just going to keep playing. Like I said, it's spooky season. Fall has officially begun. I will not be ashamed or afraid to put on some wings and costumes and play around and make fun videos and dive headfirst into my fantasy books and etc., etc. I think we should all be engaging in some play right now, you know? I don't know where this conversation started or where it's going, but here we are. So I'm going to insert a little mascara intermission, and I will see you on the flip side. Mascara is on. Bangs are not cooperating. What's the surprise? I moved them into a different position and they said no. But oh, look at that. I've got some mascara. I like this. I like this eye. I like this eye. This is like very bright and fun. Goes great with the colored contacts, but so does Serpens. It's so like moody and oh, I'm excited. Which one is your favorite, guys? Do you have a favorite? Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below whether you prefer the Serpens, which is obviously like a little bit more subtle, but does have that very like grungy smoke. There's interest there. There's a little bit of like depth. Or do you like the like vibrant Mermaid shade? I didn't actually go back in and do any sort of like deepening on the lash lines. And oh, actually one thing I will mention is that if you use these Denessa like once they dry down, they do not budge. So when I was using my eyelash curler, it didn't pick up anything on the lash line. Whereas on the left eye with the Ritual Defeat, it absolutely did. You can't really tell unless you're super, super close, but it definitely picked up some of the product right along the lash line. I don't know if, yeah, you can see that if I like kind of do this. It definitely picked up an amount of product there, which, you know, is easy enough to fix. It's not a powder, so I could go back in likely with the pencil brush and just kind of lay down some more product there in the bare spots. And it's not gonna like fall into the lashes or disturb them too much, but all in all, a beautiful product. Okay, lips. I'm gonna do something that I don't typically do just because we're going for like a bigger look here. And I'm going in with a lip liner. I don't ever use lip liner. I don't think I've ever used it on my channel. This is just the only one that I have in my collection. It is the Marcel Hypoallergenic Waterproof Lip Definition Crayon in the shade Nude. Solid choice for a color name there, guys. But for me, it is indeed a nude shade. And I'm not gonna do a full line, just right under here. I don't know if you are a Hannah Louise Poston watcher, but in one of her recent videos, I guess some of her followers had commented in a previous video that the line where most of us put our lip liner is called the vermilion border. And as someone who is also a poet, I just find that the most delicious thing, like finally something on the body that's like a cool name and not weird. So I am placing the nude pencil kind of in that vermilion border space, but I'm not going all the way around. I'm just going along my Cupid's bow, and I'm not drawing across. I want my Cupid's bow to remain defined. And I'm just really kind of defining the bottom tip, not going into the corners. The corners are getting their own special treatment. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the Uoma Beauty Black Magic. Why is the font so small? It's the Black Magic lipstick. I don't know what the full title of this is, but it will be linked below. And this is the color Not So Mika. Nice packaging there. And it still has that absolutely stunning pattern. And it's this gorgeous like pinky red, but it's so sheer. It's not a full lipstick. It's like very much a lip sheer. So I really appreciate that. It smells good. It smells kind of like candy. I'm just kind of like dabbing that into those center spots, the Cupid's bow and just down here. So accentuating kind of the poutiness. And then, and this is probably gonna be weird, and I can't remember where I saw this little trick, but I like it. You take a lip brush, like a very thin, I don't know if that's gonna show up. Hi, why is the camera doing this today? Thin lip brush, and you dip it into dark eyeshadow. I'm sure you could also do this with a dark lipstick. And kind of knock that out, and then look into the mirror. So I've got my big mirror here, but I'm also gonna grab the little one. I'm holding my mouth closed, not tight, and, well, actually a little bit open, like this. And I'm going into the corners. I don't know if you can see the very subtle effect that that gave. I'm kind of like extending my mouth. And like, you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to create like such an obvious shadow there. It's just kind of darkening up the corners and giving you those like little kind of smirk lines. And I think it just like adds such a cute pouty effect that is, I would not do this every day. This is very much like, and I'm not going to go any more severe than that. I could make it a little bit more dramatic, but I like the subtleness of what I just did. It just adds a little bit of definition in the places that I want. And, you know, if we're going like moody and costumey, this totally works. So I don't know. That's the look, guys. That's the conversation about, once again, my mental health and my new medication. And like everything else, it's going to be a journey. And I hope that you guys are still happy hanging out with me and ready to play and appreciate, you know, just some honest content. I'm not really trying to show you a facade of what my reality is. This is just very much me. Again, you will have seen the insert of what I looked like before I decided to start filming, and that is very much also the real me. If you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you will also get further glimpses into me. But if you are only interested in hanging out with me here on YouTube, that's totally fine too. So, you know, you can just do me a solid if you do just want to hang out here and give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you liked any part of this video. And if you're new here and this is the first time that you've decided to come hang out on our little corner of the internet, hi, hello, welcome. I know, once again, I should have said this at the beginning, but I don't want to pressure you guys. I don't want to be selling you guys anything before we dig in, so I like to keep it at the end for now also, just I forgot. If you are new here and you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below because we would love to have you as part of the Land fam. Okay, without further ado, I'm gonna go take my multicolored eyes and I'm gonna go try to film a new TikTok. Wish me luck. And I will see you guys in the next one.